guys. I hate to admit it. I didn't want to talk before I went to Pilates. Wow, look at the state of me. I am now a Pilates gal in her era. I can only do it once a week. I did normal Pilates today and I absolutely loved it. I think for me, Reformer is good, but Pilates works my core a lot more. So I am absolutely going to be doing Reformer or Pilates at least once a week. Pilates slowed me down. When Reformer, I felt like I was on mission. So this is my thing now. And I can't believe that I've turned into this, but I thoroughly loved it. So I just had to update you that I will be doing Pilates at least once a week moving forward for my mental well-being, but also it works your core in such a humbling way. And it also, 2 things I need to improve on. This is just me to a T. Number 1, core control. That needs to I need to learn how to activate my core or even brace. Number 2, breathing. Learning how to inhale and exhale. I have no Scooby. I'm just trying to catch my breath. It is hard. I was probably doing the intermediate stuff. When I stick out my leg, I've got no issue with the flexibility element. What I do have an issue with is my tops of my thighs, so I believe it's my hip flexors, they are tight. So I'm gonna have to be really careful moving forward, but I absolutely loved it. And it was a very busy class. Anyone that knows me knows that I struggle in busy classes, but there was like 30 plus people in there. And to be fair, I would say the medium age would be about 50, 60. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I just love it. I get so anxious before. I think to myself, I'm a really true introvert. I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do a class of people I don't know? But not knowing anyone, throwing myself in the deep end. I'm bloody proud of myself, and I don't really say that, for doing something so out of my comfort zone. So I wanted to update. Week 2 has been Pilates, and I absolutely will 100% return with 100%. I feel like when I've had a hectic week, which I have, which sometimes in life, you know, you get given cards that you can't really deal with, Pilates is the one, or hot yoga, but we haven't done that one yet. So you'll have to stay tuned next week to see what I actually do next week, because at least once a week I need to be doing a classes. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So today I thought I would glow up with you, but also tell you about my ways of coping in the darker and colder months. This is something that massively affects me and massively affects me every single year, and it's something that I think that needs to be spoken about. So the first thing I do in the winter months is look after myself. So that is exactly why I get my hair done, I get my nails done, I get my eyebrows done. I do self-care, and for me that is so important. And I think living in a country such as the UK, especially when it is dark, cold and dreary, it can feel sometimes like you genuinely, the sunlight is not existent, and there's days where it rains day in, day out. And today, funny enough, is a day where it's massively raining, and it's something that I think we don't speak about enough, and it's something that I wanted to give you some of my tips that I do have. So the first thing is, number 1, don't neglect your self-care. So that is so important for me, to make sure that I am looking after myself and looking after my well-being. Also, I think it's so important, as we don't want to go outside, we don't want to get our steps, is making sure that we do go outside. Even if it is raining all day, which it does sometimes in the UK, making sure that we do go outside. And I've actually, if you've been following along my journey, been going to classes. So I have started Reformer Pilates and Pilates at least once a week, and going to classes for me, for someone with my level of anxiety, and going to new classes to try and find the right studio for me has been very, very overwhelming. For someone that very much prioritizes their well-being, it's something that I really wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone in doing something, firstly, that I'm not necessarily good at or the best at, going into an environment that was completely new and trialing something new. So you might not have the incentive to want to go outside, but for my personal belief, and also what has helped me, has been going to classes, meeting new people, having something to look forward to. And I feel like I'm generally quite an introvert, which most people can't believe, but I love to read, and not a lot of things turn my brain off, and that's the gym for me. It's always been a sacred place. But for me, finding something outside of the gym, which is still movement, but in a way that I can be benefiting my body, is so important for myself. Also, I think what has helped me in these darker and colder months to stay, on track, motivated, is having a night routine that I do look forward to. Now, I have a lot of fairy lights around where I live. I haven't actually turned these ones on because I was worried about the light, but I have a little set routine, like my little Yankee candle or whatever candle I have going on, put up my lights. Having that type of routine is so important for me and has made me feel a lot better. Now, I feel like this time of year can be very, very tricky for some people because they feel like a lack of motivation, or they may feel a lack of wanting to get up, because in the summer it's really easy to be motivated. You want to get up, you want to do your walks, you're just feeling motivated because of the sun. And I do feel like the weather has a massive impact on most people's mental health and well-being, but also having a routine that's locked in and dialed in. And that's why a lot of my channel is around my routine, but also who I am as a person. A lot of my days do look identical. A lot of my days do look the same. I do have a 9-to-5 job. I work on the side. I think it's so important that I do make sure that I do look after everything else, and keeping my routine is so important for me because it allows me to thrive. I know without my routine, I feel very scatterbrained and I don't feel as if I'm very content. But when everything's the same time every single day, may seem boring to some people, but for me, I find a lot of comfort in that. So I wanted to make sure that I started to document ways that I can help other people. And I genuinely was like, some days I really struggle with it being so cold. I love to walk, I love to go outside. If you've been following my Instagram, you have seen that for like 8 weeks we've had our lifts not working, so living on the 19th floor and doing those flights of stairs means going outside is even more less accessible. But finding the routine and finding a new routine which works for me, I think myself, something I've learned in the last few years is a routine that serves one part of your life may also serve you differently in another part. So for example, before I went to Mauritius, I documented that on my YouTube. That's one of my favorite vlogs to watch back, but was very much in a burnout state. And then I moved on to working. I came back from Mauritius and I, for the first time in my adult life, could walk to the gym in the mornings, bearing in mind my anxiety is the worst in the mornings, in silence. I walk in silence. I have my headphones on my head, but I have no music, no podcasts, no stimulation, just me and my thoughts. And it is so refreshing to get to that stage. And I wouldn't say I was at that stage anytime until this year. And it's been so, well, last year, but it's been so refreshing that I have been able to access that, because I always saw the peace and calmness with a lot of people. But for myself, I've really found myself, and for example, changing my nails and getting my hair done and really looking after myself in a different type of way. I didn't even used to moisturize, on a daily basis. Now I do. Little things fall out of the pipeline. And I think it's so important that we do look after ourselves. We connect with those who we love. We make those phone calls to loved ones if we live far. We connect with ones outside of the country. My best friend lives in Australia, making sure that I reach out to her, letting her know that I'm here. So all of these encompass getting through these darker, colder months, and especially when I am having my little glow up and I do love a little bit of self-care. I also find that I work a considerable amount, and taking that time out, if that be the gym, if that be getting my nails done, if that be getting my eyebrows done, if that be getting my hair done. Hair's like every 14-12 weeks, but taking that time out for myself allows me to give back to myself, especially when we live in a society. I find a lot with my clients, we give a lot to other people. Taking that time out for ourselves is even more important than ever. So I hope you found this B-roll, chilled vlog very useful. I hope that you stick around, and I hope that this video did help and resonate with someone, that you're not alone, and that this time of year can either be really good or not so good. But there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and I always remember that I believe everything happens for a reason. So I hope that you found comfort in this video. And if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Also, please leave some suggestions, because I'm coming up with these myself. And I would also I like to film what I like to watch. That's something that I really wanted to find comfort in. But apart from that, I hope you have a bright and beautiful day. Make sure that you subscribe, because I'll be uploading every single Saturday. And I hope you enjoyed this little sit down portion of the vlog.